In the shadows of the Middle Ages, when cathedrals rose like mountains of stone and kingdoms waged endless wars, medicine stood at the crossroads of faith, superstition, and desperation. To fall ill in this time was to step into a world of uncertainty, where remedies were as likely to kill as to cure. The medieval physician's world was guided by the theory of the four humors: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. Balance was believed to determine health. Imbalance meant disease. Yet the methods of restoring this balance were brutal. Bloodletting was the most common cure. Patients were cut open with sharp knives or pierced with leeches, their lifeblood drained in hopes of drawing out illness. Fever, plague, even headaches, nearly every ailment was met with the same grim ritual. Many left the healer's table weaker than before, their strength flowing into the basin. For fevers and seizures, physicians turned to fire. Cauterization was a favored treatment. Glowing hot irons pressed to the flesh, burning away infection, or so it was thought. The screams of patients echoed through stone chambers as smoke rose from their skin, while healers prayed the flames would chase sickness. The plague brought horrors of its own. When the Black Death swept across Europe, the desperate sought any cure. Some physicians lanced the swellings of buboes, cutting them open with crude knives and pressing hot poultices of herbs, vinegar, or even dung into the wounds. Others prescribed mixtures of crushed emeralds or powdered toads, believing that the earth's substances held divine powers. Many remedies were poisons in disguise, but desperation silenced doubt. The alternative, doing nothing, seemed far worse. Madness and possession were treated with equal cruelty. Those thought to be cursed or touched by demons were subjected to trepanation, holes drilled into the skull with primitive tools meant to release evil spirits. The patient, bound and trembling, endured the cracking of bone and the rush of blood. Some survived with scars and broken minds, many did not. Yet in the eyes of the Middle Ages, such suffering was a necessary passage to salvation. Other treatments bordered on ritual more than science. Patients were told to drink potions of animal parts, from ground-up horn to powdered bone. Women struggling in childbirth were given charms or forced to consume mixtures of wine and mercury. Blindness was treated by dropping heated oil into the eyes. For toothaches, the common cure was to burn the gums with hot irons or smear them with crushed worms. Each remedy promised relief, but most delivered only torment. And yet, it was not malice that guided these healers, but ignorance. The physicians of the Middle Ages were men of their time, bound by tradition and guided by fragments of ancient texts. They worked in candlelit chambers, copying manuscripts, believing deeply that their rituals held power. To them, every cut, every burn, every chant was a step toward healing. But for the patient, the line between cure and torture was painfully thin. The suffering inflicted by these treatments was not hidden, it was expected. Pain was often seen as part of the cure, a divine trial to be endured. If the body broke under the strain, it was God's will. If the patient survived, the treatment was hailed as a miracle. In this way, agony became medicine, and endurance was proof of faith. As the Middle Ages drew to a close, the seeds of change began to sprout. The rediscovery of classical texts, the rise of universities, and the first stirrings of the scientific method began to erode the old ways.